Hey everybody, welcome back to The Art of Photography. My name is Ted Forbes. Today we're going to do something a little bit different than our regular format. I've basically got three announcements that I want to make and some cool news for you. The first announcement is on Friday, September 10th, this is what you've been waiting for, we're going to do a UK meetup in London. And so if you are in the UK and you're going to be in London, this is on a Friday, but what we're going to do is we're going to schedule a meetup so we can get together, I can meet you and you guys can meet me and we'll hang out, we'll take some pictures, we'll see some cool stuff. There's a plan on this, and what I thought we would do is at 10 a.m. So 10 in the morning, we're going to meet up at the Tate Modern. And their website is tate.org.uk. Now there are several Tates, and this is Tate Modern. It's the one that's over by the Globe. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to meet up there. They have a wonderful looking exhibit going on right now called Exposure, Voyeurism, Surveillance, and the Camera, which looks to be very promising. It's got over 250 works by very famous photographers and kind of takes this more modern look at our society in post 9/11 age and how photography plays a role in some of that. Anyway, it looks extremely good. I have not seen it yet, so I'm really excited about that. So what we'll do is we'll meet at 10 a.m. at the Tate Modern. We'll go check out the exhibit, and then the afternoon we'll kind of see how it goes. I'll probably grab lunch. We've had one member in the Flickr forums offer up a church that he works at to use as a shooting location, so if you want to shoot, bring your camera. The other thing we might do is go scope out some art galleries, or possibly, I know that the National Portrait Gallery has a photography exhibit going on as well. So that is the big news. That's Friday, September 10th. Now I know that is a weekday, and unfortunately the way my UK trip is kind of planned out in the days I'm speaking and stuff like that, that's just the best I could do. I'm not really there for a proper weekend. I get in for the weekend, but you know, the older you get, the more jet lag you have, things like that. Anyway, so that is the first announcement. So if you would like to come, just so I can kind of get a head count, and if you don't know, you can make it last minute. It's not a formal thing. But head into the Flickr forum, and I have a topic started for the UK meetup. And so just go in there and say, hey, I'm going to be there. That'll help me. The other thing that you might want to do is follow me on Twitter. And the reason I say that is because I do check it, and I will check it that morning. And if you're having trouble getting over there, you're lost, something like that, we can make contact, and you can do an @reply or something like that. So if you don't know how to use Twitter, you might want to figure that out too. But anyway, my address on Twitter is twitter.com/TedForbes, my name, or I'm @TedForbes if you want to use that as a reply or something like that. So that's the first thing I would do, and get that going. So I hope to see a lot of you out there. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The second announcement that I want to make is I've done some thinking about the podcast lately, and I usually do that this time of year. If you kind of watch August episodes, they tend to be more reflective, getting ready for the fall. And I'm trying to come up with ways that I can make this more beneficial to you as a photographer, how it could be more social, how it could be more engaging. What do you want to see this become? And so again, in the Flickr forums, and the address on these, by the way, is flickr.com/groups/art-of-photography. And if you go in there, you'll see the thread for the UK meetup, and then there's also going to be a thread in there called Beyond the Podcast, or yeah, Beyond the Podcast. And what I want to do with that is get some suggestions from you, not so much of what you want to see, but what can we do to make this better for you? I've considered things like bringing additional photographers, guest photographers, maybe doing location stuff, and some other things, like maybe we could do giveaways or contests or critiques or something like that. But anyway, I want to know what's going to be beneficial to you and what you're interested in. I know everybody wants to see this show come out more often than it does, and I do the best I can on that. But anyway, one way I could help with that is if I could find a way to make the podcast grow somewhat. And anyway, your input is appreciated, and some different things I want to change up and try in the fall. So, and then finally, the third announcement that I want to make, if you haven't seen it yet, there's a second podcast, a sister podcast, if you will, that I'm producing right now with a very good friend of mine who's a photographer named Wade Griffith, and that podcast is just called The Photography Show. It's audio only, and I want to be very clear, it does not replace this podcast. There's some big differences in doing an audio podcast and doing a video podcast. Video is much more involved. You got bigger files, you have a little bit of editing you have to do, you've got to mix the audio in with it, upload times are longer, things like that. Plus I can only do, you know, a short amount of time spent on the podcast, as opposed to audio where we can stretch it out, go a full hour. They're a lot easier to produce. They're not not really prepared. They're very off the cuff. We come up with a topic and we spend the week coming up with an outline, and then we record the show every Sunday in the evening. We don't really have a set time. But anyway, so check that out. And you can find all the podcasts at the podcast website at thepublicbroadcast.com. We don't have a Flickr group for it yet or anything like that, but I hope you check it out if you're interested in audio podcasts, if you're commuting, something like that, and would like something to listen to. That's what it's designed for. So anyway, so those are the big three things today. Again, I hope that my friends in London can certainly make it out for the UK meetup. I know it's a weird day, it's during the week and all, but if you have some time, please come down. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to hang out and shoot photos and talk photography and all that good stuff. But remember to kind of let me know via Flickr so I can get kind of a head count. So anyway, once again, this has been The Art of Photography, and thank you for watching.